Let me start with a picture that feels less like a scene and more like a symptom. A woman sits alone in her bedroom, ring light glowing like an artificial sun, mascara running, voice shaking, calling men trash while wearing a shirt that literally says, "Men are wallets." Not satire, not comedy. A confession dressed as fashion. And when you see it, you realize something unsettling. We're not dealing with isolated behavior anymore. We're watching an entire culture detach from reality in real time. And the scariest part? They don't even see it happening. The era of entitlement and victimhood, the deadliest psychological cocktail. A woman says she can't find a good man, while her bio demands, if you're under 6'2", don't even try. Another films for herself walking alone at 2 a.m. outside a nightclub in an outfit that's basically designer underwear, talking about how unsafe she feels. And another era, this would be comedy. Now, it's pathology. A mass psychosis built on two pillars, entitlement and victimhood, delusion and fragility. It's the psychology of, I want complete freedom with zero consequences and infinite sympathy. Like the woman crying because her ex stopped paying her rent. 3 months of dating, moved into an apartment he paid for, dumped him, and now claims he's abusive for refusing to keep funding her lifestyle. And the comments? Queen, you deserve better. He's trash. Know your worth. No, know your reality. But reality is the one thing this generation avoids like responsibility. The delusion loop. How people create their own pain. There's a pattern emerging in my psychology practice. Someone comes in, lays out their story. They ignored every red flag. They denied every warning. They rejected every piece of advice. And when it explodes, it's everyone else's fault. A woman spends 5 years with a man who told her on day 1, "I will never marry." She believed he'd change. When he didn't, she posted online about how men waste women's time. No, she gambled against his honesty and lost. The delusion isn't just cognitive, it's strategic denial. Because accountability requires change. Victimhood requires nothing but an audience. Attention addiction, the new religion. We're living in the era where people monetize the very behavior they condemn. Post thirst traps, complain about creepy DMs, wear lingerie to the gym, make videos about being sexualized. It's the psychology of wanting to sell water while shaming people for being thirsty. A woman in a coffee shop wearing workout clothes, barely covering gravity, doing yoga stretches in the busiest area. When a guy glances over, she loudly announces, "Why can't women exist without being stared at?" Because you didn't come to stretch, you came to perform. This is performative victimhood, powered by performative sexuality, aimed at performative outrage, a holy trinity of delusion. Safety theater, the paradox they pretend not to see. Someone truly concerned about safety doesn't walk alone at 3 a.m., live stream to thousands, post her real-time location, seek validation from strangers in the dark. This isn't fear. This is content disguised as concern. The psychology is simple. Create danger, court validation, weaponize victimhood. Because attention is the real currency, and victimhood is the fastest way to profit. The promiscuity paradox. Wanting marriage while signaling chaos. A woman with 100+ bodies posts proudly about it, sells it as empowerment, then wonders why men don't want to commit. You can do what you want. but you can't control how others interpret the signals. If you advertise yourself as temporary, you can't complain when no one treats you as permanent. That's not oppression. That's economics. The standards inversion. The supply-demand delusion. This might be the funniest tragedy unfolding. Women who shame men for having standards have standards so delusional they'd make royalty blush. He must be 6 foot plus, make 6 figures, be emotionally available but not needy, be dominant but gentle, be traditional but feminist, be her therapist, protector, ATM, and entertainer. Never complain. Never say no. Never ask for anything. Meanwhile, she brings her existence. No discipline, no femininity, no warmth, no reciprocity. Just vibes and demands. Entitlement disguised as empowerment. The clout apocalypse. Destroying dignity for likes. Alcohol and TikTok has created a new species. People who ruin their relationships, attack strangers, humiliate themselves publicly for 35 seconds of digital applause. And when the applause stops, they're left with consequences they never prepared for. The men they insult won't date them. The attention dries up. The reputation stain stays forever. They traded respect for engagement, a currency that depreciates instantly. The financial delusion, what they think they deserve. The financial entitlement is so inflated, it needs its own diagnosis. A woman making $30K calls a man making $60K broke. A barista with an art degree calls a plumber making $80K unambitious. Sophistication cosplay, as if credentials equal contribution, as if debt equals value, as if degrees equal status. Reality doesn't care about your aesthetic. The mob mind, the death of thought. We've entered the era of outsourced thinking. People don't believe things, they repeat things. They don't analyze, they align. They don't evaluate, they echo. A hashtag becomes doctrine. A misinterpreted tweet becomes a witch trial. A cancellation becomes a sport. It's not justice, it's bloodlust with Wi-Fi. The body positivity betrayal. The original message was beautiful. All bodies deserve respect. Now it's mutated into, you must find obesity attractive or you're phobic. But these same advocates won't date short men, won't date broke men, won't date old men. Their preferences are human, yours are hateful. Cognitive dissonance dressed as morality. The OnlyFans pipe dream, a tragedy wrapped in glamour. The narrative tells them they'll become millionaires. The data shows they make less than $200 a month. They sacrifice their future for beer money. They destroy their reputation for pennies. They gamble their life on a lottery they were never meant to win. But the delusion continues because the winners need new losers to feed the system. The selection disorder. Choosing chaos, then blaming men. Here is the most consistent pattern in modern dating psychology. Ignore the men who want you. Chase the men who don't. Bond with the ones who hurt you. Villainize the ones who didn't. Then claim there are no good men. No, your attraction system is wired to self-destruct. The clock always wins. This is the part they cannot escape. A 35-year-old cannot compete with a 25-year-old for male attention. Not because of misogyny, because of biology. Men value youth, fertility, softness, optimism. Not filters, angles, or retroactive empowerment. Reality is undefeated. Time keeps score. Cliffhanger. The truth they fear most. Here's the part I need you to sit with. Everything you just heard
is only the surface layer. Because beneath all the delusion, dysfunction, and denial lies something darker. A psychological warfare tactic so embedded in modern culture that most people don't even realize they're using it. A tactic that destroys relationships, rewrites history, and manipulates entire social groups.